Hello, I'm Dr. Craig Seifer, sports psychologist for the UR Medicine Fitness Science program, and welcome back to Injury Recovery Mindset. Now, to recap, so far we've been talking about different aspects of getting you ready to perform back on the field, especially when you're coming back from an injury and how that affects you. So far we've learned that anxiety and tension and doubt are all a normal part of our return to performance. We've talked about the alarm bell amygdala response that happens when we're under stress overall, especially when we're coming back from an injury, the green and red zones of energy management, and both mindset skills for energy management and the ABCs of self-talk, what we need to be saying to ourselves. Now, today we're going to talk about imagery for calm and relaxation and how that can play a really important role in getting you ready to be back on the field and be at your best. So we're going to use the power of our mind, to manage stress, anxiety, and fear as you get ready to return to the field. So one quote that I really love comes from Brenna Huckabee, who's a Team USA Paralympic snowboarder. And so she always talks about her use of imagery, not only for her performance, but for being able to kind of calm herself down when she's ready. And so this quote, she says, anytime I feel my heart rate starting to go up, I reset. I go to my happy place, which is usually home. And she thinks about what that home means to her. Her family's there, her mom's cooking, so's her dad. She can smell the Cajun food that they're cooking, being from Louisiana. And it helps her just feel more loose, relaxed, and ready to deal with the stresses that are going to come. And this can be an important part for returning to the field or to the competition after an injury, especially with that amygdala response that we talked about. So there's a lot of theories around how imagery works, whether it's about the motor neural pathways in our brain, being able to create mental blueprints that we have, creating meaning of the images. It's what's going on, that it's just a psychological skill that we develop or refine. But the important part is that imagery is incredibly powerful as a mindset tool. It can help us do a lot of things, and research has shown it improves concentration, it enhances motivation, it builds confidence. It helps us to acquire, practice, and correct sport-related skills. Help us to acquire and practice strategy, being able to see what happens in competition in our mind can help us to be ready. Helps us prepare for competition, helps us solve problems. But most importantly, for returning from an injury, helps us to control those emotional responses that we can have with that situation, helps us to cope with pain and injury, actually can help reduce pain, and helps us to respond to adversity. Those difficult moments that come up, utilizing imagery can help us to get through those. So there's three key components that we'll talk about in terms of creating imagery for calm and relaxation. And notice I keep on using the term imagery, not visualization. And sometimes we can use that interconnectedly or interrelatedly. But when I say imagery, I really want to think about how do we create something that incorporates all of our mind's view, all of our senses, in a way that's really powerful and really helping us. Not just the visual part of it, but the entire encompassing piece of where we are in our mind. So we're going to talk about the importance of location and environment, the senses that we need to incorporate with this, and this idea of control. How do we manage our imagery in a way that's going to be helpful? So when it comes to a location or environment, a really good way to start out is to pick a place that has a lot of meaning for you. It could be a place that you visited or a place you'd really like to visit and that you really associate with being calm or relaxing. You want to think about places like being at the beach, or being out in the mountains, being out in nature, favorite places that you have in your mind. Really think about, what is the place that I feel calm, I feel relaxed, and has a particular meaning just to you. And so take a couple of moments just to kind of think about what place would have special meaning to me, that no matter where, if I could escape to in my mind, that's going to be really helpful and really calming, relaxing for me. The next part that's really key is we need to utilize our senses to really make this image as real as possible. And so yes, when we think visualization, we think about just sight. What are the things that we see, right? If it's a beach, It's about sand and water and the sun and the sky and the things that are around us. But we want to have it be more about sight. Yes, the visual part is incredibly powerful, but we have some other really powerful senses that we want to incorporate in this process. So what are the sounds? What are the things that you hear when it comes to that image? What are the things that if you hear that little detail, it's going to bring you right to that place? You want to think about your sense of touch, right? That, does it feel warm there? Is it cool? What's that level of, comfort that you have? What are you wearing in that situation, right? Is there a breeze? Is there wind? All those kind of small details around your sense of touch that become really important. And also kind of related to touch is that sense of feel, both kinesthetic are you moving? Are you, swimming? Are you climbing? Are you just laying out, relaxing? What is that feel of movement that's going on? But also, what's the emotional feel of that moment? What does it feel like to be completely relaxed? What does your body feel like? What do your muscles feel like? What does it look like on your face? What does it feel like to kind of have that sense of relaxation? And of course, your sense of smell. And that because the smells that we can have, certain smells can just bring back memories just like in a moment. And so if there's any smells that you really associate with that place, we want to incorporate those as well. And if we can put all these pieces together, the sight, the sound, the touch, the feel, and the smell, that's going to make this image as real as possible in your mind and incredibly effective in helping bring about a sense of calm and relaxation. The next part is about control, right? We can have this strong need to kind of do this right, do this correctly. But the reality is this is going to be, for many of us, this is a brand new skill. And we're not going to be excellent at it to start. But it's about, just putting in the time and noticing and putting in the work towards it. And so your mind may drift. You may start thinking about other stuff, other obligations or other thoughts or those kind of things. And what we need to do is not kind of fight back against those thoughts, but notice that thought and then let it go. Think about it in your mind, just kind of that thought you had, letting it go, letting it dissolve, letting it fade. And then from there, we can kind of try to dial in or focus in on just one of those single senses, one of those powerful things. Is the smell of your environment that you had? Is it the sense of touch or a single sound, something that you would see? And really dial into that one sense, to kind of help you to move from drifting away, getting into your head, getting into your thoughts, and coming back into that moment. So within your workbook that we have, you have an imagery worksheet that we created. And I want you to take some time now to, even if you have to pause the video, to kind of write down some of the details around your location or your environment that you're choosing. Dialing in on some of the senses that you want to kind of pay attention to. And then also what might be your plan for controlling that, in that imagery and getting back into the image if other competing thoughts start to kind of get there. So take some time right now. What's your location? What's the environment of that situation, that calm, relaxing place? What are the senses that you would use? And what would be your plan to kind of control or manage any kind of drift or distractions that you would face? So as we think about next steps, your kintsugi, your golden repair goals, we need to continue to build our awareness. Notice how you're feeling. Notice those emotional cues that tell you how you're feeling, especially when that alarm bell's going off. Continue to practice and utilize the mindset skills that we've built so far. Breathing, progressive muscle relaxation. I want you to be mindful of your self-talk. What are the things that we're saying to ourselves? We can stay neutral. Good things are going to happen. And now this opportunity to practice and utilize imagery for calm and relaxation. And so with that, we might have either a basic or advanced approach. If imagery is completely new to you, a basic starting point would just to be a little bit more planful about putting it into your daily experience. So really focusing in on those senses, What's that sense of environment, control? What kind of focus do you want to kind of have? And starting with just practicing 3 to 4 times a week. Looking into it, see where we need to be with just 3 to 4 times a week, trying it out, spending some time with it, and seeing how it goes. Now, if imagery is something that you're already familiar with, an advanced approach can be to actually keep an imagery journal. So taking some time to write down, when did I engage in this imagery? Where was I? How long did I try it? What worked? What was challenging? And that can be a really good way to kind of see, your progress over time, and what are the locations of doing imagery that are helpful? What are the times of day? What are the locations of where you need to be? How long is a good amount of time? So it can be a really excellent way to build this skill. So thanks again. Good luck in your efforts to create imagery as a brand new skill for calm and relaxation. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out. You have my email address there, along with being able to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. Take care. And once again, I'm Dr. Craig Seifer for the UR Medicine Fitness Science program.